Hello friends, and welcome to a new video. This video is going to be like an art journal with me style of video. I haven't really made one of these before, and this footage is actually from a few months ago, and I've just had it sitting on my hard drive, and I thought it was about time that I record a voiceover, especially now that I've got my fancy new microphone, and I post it here for you guys. So, as you can see, I had already had a little bit of stuff going on this spread before I started. It wasn't like a totally blank white page. And that's kind of how I work in my art journals and sketchbooks, is I might just like use leftover paint or like just start something. I just want to like play with color for 5 minutes. Like maybe I don't have enough time to do something finished, or I don't have like the mental energy at that time. So I just kind of slap something on the page, knowing that hopefully I will come back to it and I will create more on top of what I've already done. And I really like working in this way because it's kind of, I don't know, it's kind of organic, and it means that like even if you don't really like what you've put down, you're like, okay, look, it doesn't matter. I can just come back over this and, do as many messy layers and experiment as much as I want. So it really doesn't matter. It's kind of, it feels like a little bit freeing. So right now I've just splashed some of my Liquitex acrylic ink on the page. Just straight out of the dropper of the bottle. I'm not actually sure what colour that is. It might be Prussian blue, maybe? I've got a few blues, but I love Liquitex ink. I've loved it for quite a few years, and I'm slowly building up my little colour palette. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention, this sketchbook that I'm working in case you're interested, is the Karst, I think is the brand. Got it right in front of me here. Yeah, Karst. And it's a stone paper sketchbook. So that in itself is really interesting, and it does affect the way like the mediums work on the page. So I don't know if you can sort of tell, but as I'm working this acrylic ink into the page, it doesn't sink in. It kind of sits on the surface, and it oh, there's me filming, I think probably for TikTok or Instagram. It sort of sits on top of the page, and you get some interesting textures, and I don't know, it's an interesting paper to work with. If you haven't tried using stone paper, I definitely suggest it. At least, experiment with it once. It's unique. I like it quite a bit. So here I am, just like dolloping more acrylic inks on the page, and I'm about to bust out my alcohol inks, which I also I really like on this stone paper. If you've ever used like Yupo paper and alcohol inks, I feel like it's kind of a similar type of feeling. The alcohol inks are very fun to use on this stone paper. So while that, like, the base of this planet thing that I'm painting here is acrylic ink, and then I've just like gone in and dropped alcohol ink into it while that ink is still wet, and then I'm kind of just swirling it around. Honestly, I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm just purely experimenting. So for this page, like most, I I don't have any I don't really know where I'm going with it while I'm doing it. I started, as you saw at the start, it was like the girl's eyes. And yeah, I just was like, okay, I'm gonna finish drawing her face. And then for some reason, I just wanted to paint planets. I think I really wanted to use inks, and planets are quite fun to paint with inks. So that's where we went with it. Now, these are my Derwent Inktense pencils. So I'm going in and kind of adding some more color to her face, like some eyeshadow, some eyeliner, with those pencils, because they're amazing. They give you that option to, like, you can just use them dry, or then you can go in like I'm doing here with a little paintbrush and a bit of water, and you can blend them. So really, really fun to use in your art journals. So I'm just going in and like adding a little bit of like shading to the face, just subtly, just to bring out the features a little bit more. With those Inktense pencils, if you want quite a subtle look, a little goes a long way. So as you can see, I'm not really adding more. I'm not really adding too much more pencil to the page. I'm just sort of like, I've got a wet paintbrush and I'm sort of dipping it onto the pencil. And right now, to add those darker strands of hair, you can wet the pencil a little bit and then add it directly to the page, which will give you these like really intense lines. So all the supplies that I'm using, I'll have listed down in the description below. The paintbrush that I'm using right now is probably one of my favorites for doing art journaling stuff and just like watercolor, anything with like water medium, not acrylic or oil. It's a beautiful, beautiful brush. I don't think it was cheap though, but it's very versatile. I'll have to look up exactly what it is because it's not close to me right now. But I'll have it listed in the description below. It's a really good, I find it's a really good size. I'm doing most of this page, if not all of it, with this one brush. I think it's really, really good. So just building more of those like details up on the face. Trying to sort of like, I have the face blended in to the background in a bit of an abstract kind of way, but also make sure that it's still, you can still differentiate it from the background a bit. So here I'm also using more of the Liquitex ink. I don't think I had a paint palette close by, or I just couldn't be bothered using one. So I was just using the ink directly off like I was either using it straight from the dropper like this, or I was like taking my brush onto the dropper. Super, super lazy vibes. Kind of trying to make those planets almost, they have a little bit of a glow, and sort of make them stand out from the background a little bit more. My apologies for the lighting in this video. I filmed it at nighttime and I do have some really good studio lights, but I think I just didn't have them set up in the right spot. So there's a bit of shadows from my hand and stuff happening. I hope you can bear with that. But if you can see, like you can sort of see in that right side of her hair where I put that first initial blue ink, it's got some really nice, like, I don't know, just the effect is quite nice. It's quite random. a bit like sort of splotchy, and I think it's this ink on the stone paper. You don't really know what it's going to do, which I find quite fun. So I'm going in with is that a pencil? Yeah, that's a pencil. So I'm going in with an Inktense pencil again. Just darkening some things up. And in pretty much all of my artwork, whether it's like finished acrylic paintings, stuff in art journals, I love drawing hair. I just find hair, I don't know, it's just you can create beautiful shapes, and it really can bring a piece together. I don't know, I've just always been obsessed with the lines and shapes of hair, and I just think it's the funnest thing to paint. So I think at this stage I'm wondering where I'm going to go with this next, what I'm going to do. With pages like these in my art journal, I do try to not take too long and make it too perfect and refined and finished, because I really could, and I get tempted to, but I think art journals, I don't know, it's just, I try to keep an element of like freshness and play, as opposed to, you know, the canvas paintings that I do, they're more in depth and take more time. So I feel like it's good to have an outlet that's, you know, a little bit not as serious, and I don't have to make things perfect. So I'm going in here with a gold oil pastel. This one's from Sennelier, and I just love their oil pastels. They are so pretty. But if you can only like afford one, because they're quite expensive, I would highly recommend getting like a gold or a metallic, because I feel like that will be really versatile. It'll be something you can use in pretty much any artwork. So I'm bringing in some soft pastels into her face. I think this pink one it might be like an iron lac one. I've had it for a long time. But just like this soft pink to create sort of like a blush on her cheeks. And then this like blue color. So I'm creating sort of maybe some little sort of faded out planets that look like they're a little bit more in the distance. I hope you enjoyed watching this video. I'm going to be making more journal with me videos, and they're going to actually be a lot better, improved quality wise, because I'm in the process of, well, not me, my boyfriend is in the process of making me like an overhead camera rig. So they're going to be much improved in visual quality, but I have a lot of art journals to get through, so I would actually quite like to make this maybe even a weekly series where I try to get a lot more pages done in my journals. So thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Subscribe for more of the journal videos and just more art content. And I'll see you in the next video.